of Pan-African Television. And this program is sponsored by the Accra Collective of the Socialist Movement of Ghana. Today we are going to be discussing something which is very, very interesting. It borders on digital sovereignty, it borders on healthcare, and so on. We are told that the government of Ghana has rejected a grant of about $109 million because government is dissatisfied with the arrangement which would have enabled the US to take hold of our data for various reasons and so on. And today we have invited one of our members, a member of the Accra Collective of the SMG, who also happens to be a medical practitioner. Indeed, he is the Chief Executive Officer of the Rhine Medical Center in Accra. Dr. Faisal Sule is the one who is going to lead this discussion. And it's my pleasure on behalf of the Socialist Forum of Ghana and also Pan-African Television to invite Dr. Faisal Sule to do the presentation. After his presentation, we'll go to our social media platforms and take comments, and then we would come to the studio and take comments from the studio audience, and then he will wrap up. Round of applause for Dr.
Thank you very much, Senior Comrade, and a very good evening to all our viewers out there and our audience in studio. Thanks for making it a time to attend and also view this very important program. As a medical doctor involved in clinical practice and health administration and management in Ghana, I find this a very fine opportunity to contribute to the very important national conversation we are having. Tonight's topic, that's Ghana's decision to reject a $109 million deal over data concerns. It's not just about economic or technology. It is fundamentally about sovereignty, trust, and the future of a critical sector like health sector in Ghana. In Ghana, our aim is to move towards progressively free healthcare. As we got it introduced not too long ago, that's a free primary healthcare. But it's always been a target to get quality healthcare which is accessible and affordable. However, the main challenge with healthcare or getting the quality, affordable, free healthcare is about health financing. That's where the main challenge is. Over the past years, we've been fortunate enough to benefit from bilateral agreements from the United States via the United States Agency for International Development, just USAID for short, and also the Japanese through the Japanese Agency for International Development, as well as other multinational organizations and bilateral agreements that we had. However, we've seen these deals have been very, very good in the past. For instance, in my field, I'm an obstetrician gynecologist. I can readily talk about maternal mortality. That's losing a mother through birth or a few weeks just after birth. With maternal mortality, somewhere in 1992, we realized the rate was very high. As we talk currently, the rate is still high, but not as high as 1992. We currently have about 110 maternal mortality rate been about 110 per 100,000 live birth. That's in about 2024 reports. But way back, we realized there were 2 Ds or 3 Ds. The first D being the delay in the mother making decision before seeking medical help. The second D being delay in commuting to the health facility by virtue of very bad roads and what have you. And the third D is about delay in instituting or starting treatment. However, with the help of such monies from such aids, we're able to make great interventions. We realized that when the woman was empowered, she could decide on her own to move without even telling the husband. So this critical decision saw us markedly reducing the rate of death from childbirth, that's maternal mortality. It's not only in the field of maternal mortality, we've also seen such improvements in areas where we cooperated, and then in such areas like reducing under 5 mortality, that's children die under 5 years, in areas of reducing HIV death rates, involvement in tuberculosis, and childhood, what now used to be what's now a thing of the past, that's the childhood killer diseases. So this kind of agreement or deals have been something that has helped the country in the past. But there's been some changes recently with the current administration in America, that's under President Trump. To start with, in the year 2024, just before Trump came into power, the American government spent about $209 million in Ghana by way of aids, out of which 96 million went into health alone, specifically. So this is something that we benefited from. However, Trump came in and then came to dismantle what we call the USAID, that's the United States Agency for International Development. That's the agency through which such aids went to poor countries like Africa and in Africa and other third world countries around the world. Their reason being they thought it was an avenue for major corruption. Some of the probably officers involved in the United States made a lot of dollars with the excuse that they were helping through the United States aid. And they also thought this time around they had to own. And so there was somewhere in September 2025, the United States changed its policy towards America First global health strategy. And with this America First strategy, what happens is the United States determines what they want. It's all about the United States. Okay. By doing so, they want to make sure the money gets to the places where the money is needed most. And then they also wanted the receiving countries to also be actively involved and contribute towards this development, so that in the long term they end up getting some form of sovereignty, a form of self-reliance when it comes to health financing. So as part of this, somewhere in November 2025, that's when this deal was proposed. It's still in the proposal state. It was proposed to the government of Ghana. That's the health for data deal, where they want to come in and support with this $109 million US. And what they are demanding is that we surrender our health data to them. And other components of the deal also involves we even co-founding with them 60 million out of the $109 million. And this $109 million we're going to give is spread over 5 years. Not only that, the whole agreement or memorandum of understanding was drafted unilaterally by the United States without involving Ghanaians. And this is very insulting. To add to that, they will also determine that the data that they get, they're going to use without any restriction. They have the right to use the data for whatever they want, including releasing such data to United States pharmaceutical company. And we all know, or probably agree with me, that pharmaceutical company is a big place where they make a lot of money. And well, they don't only produce money, they are going to commercialize it based on our health information or the data we have. They produce drugs, and when these drugs are produced, these drugs will come back to us and be sold to us. And the funny thing is that we don't have control over their legal system. Controls what the agreement dictates. And then secondly, when the agreement, then the drugs come in, our own Food and Drugs Authority that probably protects us by making sure these drugs get the necessary certifications, doesn't have the right to probably play that role. So they produce it, they come in and make more money. Yeah. And then what they also did was they keep pushing this, keep mounting pressure on the government of Ghana. And then quite recently, they stated 24th of last month, April, as a deadline, which the government of Ghana respectfully also rejected for its own reason. But this just to give you a background of what happened. But currently, even globally, we've gotten about 32 countries subscribing to such deals, majority of which are from African countries, and the target is to reimburse about 20.6 billion US, out of which 7.8 will be something that will be a form of co-investment from the recipient countries. The situation we have here is not so different from countries like Zambia, where there is a consumer protection group that's risen up and then probably sent some court issues. So at the moment, they are rejecting it. But however, in Zimbabwe, when Zimbabwe started, they probably been stopped. So US at the moment has withdrawn all health support to Zimbabwe. But when we talk of this money for data deal, we need to understand what's at stake. Okay, so simply put, we're talking about data. The word data in today's world is not just about those abstract values that you see, these percentages, graphs, and about. There's more to it than that. In this case, this involves personal details, your health information, your history, examination findings, investigation findings, even your genetic history, as well as certain ongoing digital data that we are collecting, because now we do AI and all that. And this is something which is supposed to be very, very private and very sensitive. So we cannot afford to probably give this information out. Doing this is very dangerous. And to add to that, I think Ghana's position is a position of probably exercising some cautious approach to who controls the data, where it is stored as well, within our territory and not outside, and then how to use the data. My position as a health care worker, I have three major concerns. First being about patients' privacy and confidentiality for obvious reasons. We swore by oath to keep confidentiality of patients. Whatever I tell me is supposed to be between myself and you. Whatever information I get from you, that's why people feel very comfortable with health workers and doctors, and they probably tell or reveal very private information because you think you are secured in a place of security. That said, this confidentiality is not something that we can, it's not negotiable. You have to go by it. If you probably break that trust or confidentiality, the patient can take you on, and then you suffer dearly. We cannot just release such information to outsiders, let alone outside our jurisdiction, they have access to it, and then how to use it. My second concern has got to do with digital sovereignty. I think as a nation, we are a sovereign nation. We have the right to collect our own data, keep it, know how to use it, and then not necessarily release it to people. This is not the right way to go. Imagine a situation where there is a outbreak, be it a global, maybe epidemic, like we have in COVID or any form of epidemic, or be it even limited to only Ghana, where there is a medical or health emergency which is national. Certain interventions, critical interventions that we as health workers, led by our leaders in the Ministry of Health, will have to do, will be based on data, how much data we have, and then how we're going to probably redistribute health workers, certain resources like the few ambulances we have and all those equipments. Well, imagine in that state of pandemic, we need to make decisions, but we are not in control of our own data. We cannot just access this data. This data are stored in foreign countries, and these countries, the laws of this country determines how this data will be released. So we might not readily get such data to help our own selves. So this issue also borders on our own national security. It's not a just mere issue of just data. That's how bad the situation is. And thirdly, it's about innovation and protection. Innovation being in today's world, there's a lot of innovation, telemedicine, about probably AI-assisted diagnosis and all that. Well, data information sharing helps with these things, but we're not sharing doesn't mean we are lagging behind. Okay, can have a way of being innovative about this. We shouldn't lag behind, and yet make sure our data is kept with us and we have full control over our data. And the question shouldn't be about whether or not we adopt these technologies, that an innovation. The question is about how to use them and how to do so. And you also realize when this conversation came up, there are competing perspectives. Some also argue strongly that, okay, 109 million is a huge money. This is something you can invest into infrastructure, into the healthcare, into certain policies and all that to implement. And this is going to go a long way to help us. But, which is not a bad thing per se, but you don't just do this and then exposing yourself to so much dangers. We accepting these deals amount to be creating a culture of dependency. We still become very dependent on them, and then also expose very sensitive data, as well as we limit our activities to regulate our own data that we collected about our own citizens. As a doctor, I would want to put it in a way that you understand. You come to me as a medical doctor after assessing you and all that. Often, most of our interventions may include prescribing a drug for you. Our concerns are not just about the immediate effect of the drug or your immediate relief. We also take into consideration the side effect of the drugs, the long-term effect on the body, as well as your quality of life in the long term. So, in making such decisions, I think we should have that approach to that thing. We shouldn't just accept this deal and then with just the quick money, invest somewhere. In the long term, we are going to suffer. Because this goes beyond even the current generation. There's something that they're supposed to give them the information. We try to relinquish. We don't have any power about this information that we just given this data, and it's supposed to be for about 25 good years. So this no joke. And I also think as a country we should involve the parent and the patients or the citizen about their data collection and be transparent about it. You know what has been collected about you know where it is stored, and know how it is used. We cannot just violate all these data protection rules and all that. But in this, I also see an opportunity. Okay, in this challenge, it's an opportunity for Ghana to make a good statement. Ghana also has to lead in Africa on ethical digital development, especially when it comes to healthcare. If you make this strong stand and then maintain barrier, it's a good example for others to follow. So I'm so happy with a current interview where the Minister of Health was interviewed about this, and he made his position clear that we're not going to compromise on our data sovereignty, or probably so to say in his words, and also made allusion to the fact that even quite recently we've been able to uncap the National Health Insurance scheme. So what happens is all the money realized from National Health Insurance by way of premium goes back into only health. So this is going to go a very long way to probably solve our problems. Because our problem is about finance, healthcare finance. You have to find a very innovative ways of going about, so we become very self-reliant in the near future. Luckily, we have a new Ghana. The whole world is looking at Ghana. We have a new Ghana under our President Mahama, who happens to be doing very well when it comes to perception and also on the grounds. And even internationally, is adding championing the dignity of African countries and Africans as well, fighting for reparations at the moment. He's even a voice at the United Nations and highly respected now, and is calling for permanent seats for African countries and all that on the United Nations Security Council, as well as even quite recently, yesterday, I even thought I saw something like a new national headline, so to say. I'm here to read the news very well. And implementation of this primary healthcare, that's the mama care. So we need money to probably champion this deal, but these monies shouldn't be just monies coming from at the expense of our own data and what we are going to probably lose in future. My recommendation is we should find a way of getting very innovative ways of creating sustainable and strong systems to finance our healthcare, because this is not just about today. And we as a country, we have a country to build, okay, and we owe it to ourselves to live ourselves happy, live ourselves up. Ghana, we have a wonderful history. We have enviable reputation. We are peace-loving people. We have wonderful culture. People look up to us. People love to associate with us. We cannot make the mistake of probably trading this nation with all this gold and make a mistake that ourselves will suffer and a future generation of Ghanaians to come will also suffer. Rejecting this deal is not just a mere rejection. It's also something which makes a strong statement. It's a statement to the Western world and those who probably have to find ways of recolonizing us through new colonialism, because this is just a way. I give you some small money and then I control your data. I use the data to make more money. And then later, you don't even have power. Your laws will not apply when it comes to the data. You are just there. I just come and say, okay, this is a deal. You have to sign it. You're not part of it. Okay, and then I push everything down your throat. You have to accept it. They determine and still control. It's just force and denuclearization. This is something we shouldn't accept at the moment. And so it's not about just rejection. I think it's a strong statement. It's a statement that Ghana is thinking critically about its digital future, its sovereignty, and also the protection of its people. And the challenge now is to ensure that this caution is matched with action. We have to build systems that are not only secure, but also innovative, inclusive, and sustainable. Thank you for the opportunity.
Well, thank you very, very much, Dr. Sule Faisal, Chief Executive Officer of Rhine Medical Center and a member of the Accra Collective of the Socialist Movement of Ghana. It is now time to raise your questions, to make your comments about medical sovereignty or data sovereignty or whatever it is. And I'd like to invite the studio audience, those of you who have questions, those of you who have comments to make and so on. The microphone is yours. I see one, I see two, I see three. So we're going to start with Comrade Mensah, and then we come to you, and then we'll go to Comrade Azuma. Comrade Mensah, the microphone is yours.
Good evening, viewers out there and those in the studio. We are very grateful to Dr. Faisal for his insightful message. One thing I noticed in the course of his delivery was he made mention of the fact that doctors swore an oath. If I read about the Hippocratic oath, yes, that means confidentiality of data from the patients. So it will be rare for any doctor in Ghana to say that in fact these data from our patients to be sent outside. And I feel it's it's just an insult for Ghana as a sovereign state to accept a couched proposal from the US just to give it to us, just like a piece to take without even going back. So then talk about neocolonialism. In fact, he mentioned it too. In fact, all that I have in my head, he mentioned it. So I will thank him for his insightful message. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody. Right here in Ghana, in almost every organized and a formidable company, the HR departments make sure they keep the medical records of every staff of that company. And it is very, very important the HR make sure they keep it within their confines. Absolutely nobody knows about it in the company, not even the CEO, not even the managing director or the owner of the company whatsoever. It's for a reason, it's for a purpose. Even with that, the medical records of every staff in that company is kept confidential. When we are talking about sovereignty, it has to do with food, it has to do with health as well. When they are not able to capture your food, they find ways and means to grab your health. And when they grab your health, then they have all the reasons to start dictate and tell you what you're supposed to eat, because your health records informs them whatever. And we know the way they cook it so nice before us. We get so scared, we are so much afraid, and we have no choice than to go according to whatever plan of meals or our food systems is supposed to go. I also see this as another level or another step of Rockefeller era of medicine, because history can tell us how medicine started until Rockefeller Foundation stepped into medical health, and they rather dictating and directing and telling us what medical health is supposed to be, and they are leading the course of it. And we know at the end of the day what they are looking at for money connected with big pharma. Therefore, what we are all seeing, or what we could read between the lines, is so easy and simple. They want to grab our medical information, as I rightly said, and they will start to dictate and direct us the way things need to go, and also introduce whatever medications. If basic malaria is a problem, they will now tell us, no, our treatment for malaria is no more this, it's supposed to be this. Whatever health issues, of course, they already have information on global health challenges. They already have those ideas already. They are now trying to direct and go according to the way they want it. We know about the COVID, what happens, and should in case this is also another opportunity for them to dump another pandemic, telling us that, okay, there's a new pandemic that is about to come, and this and this and this is supposed to be the protocol to combat or to fight against whatever pandemic it is, because they have your records. And you can tell yourself that what they are saying makes sense to you, but they smartly pick those information from you and they want to direct and tell you what you're supposed to do. We are a sovereign nation, and it's a very good thing that Ghana have taken by not allowing them to have our medical data. Thank you very much.
Good evening, comrades. Today program, this is about medicine. I'm not well versed in medicine, but what I know is that sometime early last year, I attended a clinic at the university hospital, not the medical center. I reported sick because my BP was very high. So I went there. The following day, I was in Legon with some friends. Then a call came to me that tomorrow I should come to Bank of Ghana Hospital. But I was doubting why I should go there. So I asked a friend. He said, "Oh, you go. Maybe there's something." So I got to Bank of Ghana Hospital. I went. This is 4th floor. I went there. Then they gave me a form to fill. Then I went to the one handling the project. That it is a project that they are doing. I sat down with them. I asked them why they managed to get my information. So that somebody sent it to them from the hospital. Then they gave me some forms to fill and bring it back. The forms are still in my house. I haven't done it. So what he's saying about information gathering and then concerning health, that's what I'm saying. I don't know much about health issues, but I have witnesses, because they try to call to find the sort of sickness that's worrying me, and it wasn't so severe to send that information to Bank of Ghana Hospital. So that's my decision. Thank you so much.
Well, time for our social media messages and comments from our social media platform, and my pleasure to welcome to the microphone Lady Teresa.
Good evening once again, lovely viewers. So I will do well to read your messages. Please do not call because it will disrupt the reading. So I'll first take this from An African. An African says, hello Pan-African TV, hello An African. And this is from Ajenkwa Enyonyam, and he says, the USA has never been a Father Christmas. She gives you with the right hand and takes back more with the left. But thank you, Big Brother American. But please keep your deal to yourself. All right. Thank you very much, Ajinkwa. This is also from NBA God's Way. Good evening. My name is NBA. I'm watching live from Mankasim inside Central Region. Okay. Thank you for watching. All right. So I'll go straight to our WhatsApp platform also. Just a few minutes and all right. This one is also from Irene, and Irene is saying that thank you for that insightful conversation. Thank you so much, Irene, for your message also. This one too has okay, he says I'm Hazard and I'm watching you live from Kumasi Tafo. Thank you very much, Mr. Sule, for your presentation. I'll take some few more and then I should be done. This one says, my name is Abdul Haq from Teshi. I think the resource person did very well, and this deal was not different than the military partnership which still exists till today. I'm happy the SMJ that they have taken it up to lead the charge at abolishing this deal. Luckily, JM rejected this. Thank you very much, Abdul Haq from Teshi. Okay. And then I will do this last one. We should be done. And this is from Engineer Shamaba. And he says that the US is playing a very dangerous game on the African continent with military and now finally to the health sector. But we are very grateful to President John Mahama for seeing this and rejecting this deal. So this is where I'll end the reading for the messages.
Well, time for Dr. Faisal Sule to round up. And thereafter, we say goodbye. So, Dr. Faisal Sule, closing comments.
Thank you very much once again. In conclusion, I think as a sovereign country, we have to own our own destiny. We have to set up systems that will make sure healthcare is well probably financed, which is also sustainable, and also very strong systems. We shouldn't allow ourselves to be used. We shouldn't fall for this trap. This is something that we're going to suffer. In the next few, once they start getting first year's data, second year data, they are likely to probably interpret this data based on which they would start their own formulations. They can produce so quick. And then so in the next 2, 3, 4 years, we are likely to start seeing these drugs coming, and our hands are tied behind us. And they will just have to be consuming. Even the Food and Drug Authority will not be able to probably protect us, whether they are good or not. But as we talk now, in the pharmaceutical company, the pharmaceutical world is a very big industry. And there are a lot of even fake drugs in the system, even from countries like US, even UK, France, that you can even trust. We don't think of only Nigerian African fake drugs within Ghana. So we need a Food Drug Authority to protect us. We need our own legislation. We need our people to be on the table when it comes to discussing these issues. We need ourselves, our voice to be heard. This is a deal that out of the 109 million, we are even co-funding about 60 million. So it's not like, just that it's not so clear how much money we are paying also. But our voice to be heard and this not be pushed down our throat. We thank the government, the current government of President Mama, for such a good work. They are doing very well, and I think this is a good signal to the West, and this is something that African countries should also emulate. Thank you very much.
Well, I want to say a very big thank you to those of you who managed to come to the studio. I mean, you are an important part of the program, and we thank you very much for coming, for making your contribution, just for your presence. Thank you very, very much. For those of you who watch us on television at home, we say thank you. For those of us who followed us on social media, thank you very much. Keep watching the program. And for those of you who would like to take part in the program, please just show up at Pan-African Television every Wednesday before 5:30 p.m. and you will be a part of this program. On behalf of Pan-African Television, the Accra Collective of the Socialist Movement of Ghana, and the director of the show, Edem Lumon, and then not forgetting Makiza Latifa Michelin, the producer of the show, we say thank you very much for being with us, and goodbye until we meet you again next week. Bye-bye.